Yo, welcome to the channel if you're new here, and welcome back if you're not. It is Shot by Kurt. Today's video, we're going to talk about 3 things we tend to overlook as creative professionals, especially when we just starting out. So the first thing is investing in other resources that is not gear. Now, obviously, you want to have a solid camera body, a solid lens, and lighting if you need that. Obviously, starting out, you might be able to get away with just doing natural light stuff or whatever, but if you need lights at this point, there's a lot of budget things that you can get, so you want to have like all the basic essentials knocked out for sure. But some of the resources that you can invest in is going to conferences. Now, the reason why this is important is because being in the room is vital. You never know who you're gonna rub shoulders with. You might meet your next business partner, your next editor, your next colorist. You never know. Just being in the room with like-minded people who are taking their business serious and their brand serious, they're probably at a conference that you kind of are overlooking because you don't want to spend the money and you're thinking about how much it costs. But the mind shift that needs to happen is thinking about how much it'll cost you if you don't go to that conference. Another thing that's tied into conferences, and this just goes in general, just being around like-minded people, is relationships. Again, you never know who you're gonna meet. You never know who you're gonna be able to build with. Like I said, your next business partner, somebody that might be able to give you a perspective that you didn't have. Maybe you go into it shooting just photo and they give you a reason or a perspective to think about shooting video, or vice versa, you shoot video only and they give you a perspective of like maybe why you should add photography into your services. Whether you shoot the photos or that person shoots the photos, that relationship is great to have, because when you get a client that wants photos along with video, you can either hire that person or you can get with that person to teach you and show you the ropes of how to look at photos. And then the last thing that we all need to invest in is our education. So I just switched to DaVinci Resolve. I was using Final Cut, and before that I was using Premiere. And before, I hadn't took any classes or anything. It was just kind of getting the program and figure everything out. But if you take a class, whether free or paid, you take a class and you get this information from somebody who has years in the program, and they can teach you shortcuts and things. So the best information to get is from somebody who's already traveled down the road that you're trying to go down. So in other words, if you just starting out, or if you seasoned but you're not great at a certain thing or whatever, look into some education, look into some courses, sign up for Skillshare. There's plenty of things. Or you could just get up early and do your own work on YouTube University, where we're at right now. So the second thing that we tend to overlook as creatives is marketing, or our branding. As much energy and passion and everything that we put into client projects and making sure that their stuff looks good, we are walking brands and we need to act like it. So the same energy and stuff that we give to their projects or to our client projects, we need to give to ourselves to make sure that we are showing up in the world the way that we want to be seen. So how you carry and present your brand is just as important as the reel that you put together to show your clients. Somebody could see just how you market your brand and the confidence that you carry in your brand, and you can get inquiries just off of that alone. I have personally, and I'm pretty sure that other people have as well, who try to put that effort into their branding. You never know who has their eyes on your brand. At the end of the day, man, you're not just a videographer or a photographer, you're a brand, and it's time to start moving like it. And the last thing that we tend to overlook is taxes. So everybody got ebooks, courses, all these things on how to make tens of thousands of dollars a year, in a month, and so on and so forth. But don't none of that matter if you ain't keeping none of the money. Everybody's telling us how to make 100K in our business, but nobody's telling us how much of that is about to get taken by Uncle Sam. Or nobody's telling us about the course or the business trip or the gear and all of the stuff that we buy, how we can write it off. That's a video for a different day. All I'm saying is do some research throughout the year, see what options you got as a business, because we are businesses, again, brands, but we are walking businesses, and this is information that we need to have. And I think that it needs to be spoke on a little bit more. So there is people that kind of speak on it, but I just want to be another one of the ones to speak on it, because my experience over this past 12 months, 14, 15 months that I've been, just going through this process and, learning how to make more money, but then also learning how to keep that money as well. I feel like that's something that don't get talked about enough. Everybody's talking about, the gear and so on and so forth, which none of that is a problem. I talk about gear myself if I have something to talk about, but this side of it, the things that we tend to overlook, this is something that I feel definitely needs to be talked about and, shed light on, especially for people that's just coming in and want to make this a career. Is something that you need to think about. Then one of the last things that I'll say about this, if you can afford it, I would definitely look into a financial planner or an accountant, a CPA or something like that to kind of point you in the right direction in terms of business moves that you can make, in terms of buying equipment, tracking your expenses, your receipts, so on and so forth. Me hiring an accountant was one of the best things that I ever did, just because I get the financial planning and sort of accountant situation mixed into one. So that was one of the best decisions that I ever made. And, I'm grateful to be in a position to even be able to, have this conversation or even afford it. To all my creators and people that run across this video, if you found any value in the video, definitely drop a like as it helps out the channel. Consider hitting that subscribe button for more content. Good vibes, yo.